Hi, I'm Russell Canouse. I'm DC United's player rep for the MLSPA. For DC United, obviously I'm the team player rep, which heads the team's responsibilities within the MLS Players Association. I have a couple of players that support me in that role, but the role obviously entails meeting together with other athletes around the league, other player reps, the executive board from the MLS Players Association, especially times when we're busier and we're negotiating the CBA, but also on off years we still have, we're the voice within the locker room to pass on news, pass on relative information, regarding the league and rules, things they put into place. So that's one of my responsibilities, and others who support me within the player rep and within the club. So I've been DC United's player rep since 2018. It was not something I originally thought I would get into. We had 3 older, experienced players at the time. I was 22 years old. All 3 of those players ended up leaving the club. So I was one of the players that decided to take the initiative and step into the head team player rep role. And it's something that I didn't initially want to do or think to do, but I'm thankful at this moment that I've done it, and it's been 6 years. In August it'll be 6 years that I've been with the club. So having that responsibility and the communication from the whole Players Association to then also give it back to my team and provide that leadership role is always something I've enjoyed and felt that it's been important for all of our guys and educating them on everything involved with the league. So as I've grown into the player rep role, I've realized also the importance of serving the PA and being a player that pushes the league forward. I have a son now, a young boy who I hope, if he does play soccer, that one day he has a chance to be able to become professional. If not, there's many other players that in this country, as we progress soccer forward, that I've done my part personally to be able to try to push the league forward, whether that's salary, free agency, all the things to move the league forward that I was a part of. And you see with legends and also the guys that you don't really think of or haven't heard of, but it's important collectively that every single player takes initiative, whether you're serving or not. I think it's an important role that everyone can take to continue to push the league or organization forward. As we move into the future and the league continues to grow, I hope that I look back on my career personally and I know for a fact I'll be thankful that I served in the Players Association and I continued to give my best to move the league forward. I know maybe the players playing in the league at that time, they won't look at me and say, oh, well, thanks Russell Canouse for serving, but I know 30, 40 years from now, when I'm old and retired, that I'll be, it'll be cool to look back on and say that I helped grow this league while I played. Yeah, I think first of all, it's about the collective effort of a group of players, a group of players coming together to be able to move forward their league, which ultimately improves their individual experience and potential earnings, etc. So I look at the Players Association and these organizations as an important piece to be able to continue to develop sport within our country. No matter the sport, it's important that the players understand the importance of coming together and sticking together to continue to move their league forward. We had unfortunate timing with COVID, but before that, we showed a very collective and cohesive group of players within the league. One of the things that sticks out to me was a post that we all put up on our social media accounts, just to show that, hey, we are one, we're united. And every single player across the league threw that picture up, and it showed that, hey, we're together. It represented something important to show the league that, hey, we are all in this together. So that's one thing that stuck out, and with that negotiation, during that negotiation, we are proud that we're going to be able to have the minimum salary head up. I think we also improved free agency terms for a lot of players. Before, there was really no free agency with the rules that were in place. So those are something that, you know, I think us as players and a players association, we can be proud of. There's always things that we feel like we didn't get, but yeah, those are definitely two things that stick out that were positive from the last negotiation.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge piece of the Players Association, is that career development, post-career and supportive services, so you can say, that help our players post-career. Because as a player, when you retire, it's very difficult to be able to find your footing and know what you want to do post-career. Our PA is working on it presently, but has been developing programs and doing partnerships over the last few years to be able to help us. And you know, me personally, I've engaged in taking a couple of the college credits online. Also, you know, there's a sales course that they look to put players into post-career. There's many different options in supportive services, whether it's coaching licenses, going into scouting, going to MLS Next tournaments that they have. But that portion of having players feel the support from the PA for their post-career jobs is super important, and I think that's a powerful aspect that the Players Association provides. At times it can be a difficult thing to navigate, to be able to make sure we get every single player's opinion and feed it back to the representatives at the PA, the executive board. But I think that's part of being a player rep, also having a couple supportive player reps as well. You know, we are speaking with multiple players. Obviously, we have a lot of Spanish speakers, making sure they have their voice heard. Those moments are really important, especially when you go into the negotiation phase, that, hey, we have to get a collective effort that everyone feels that they can be a part of. Because in the moments where you need to stick together, whether it's going on strike or negotiating together, those are important moments that everybody needs to be on board for and also be prepared for. I think if there was no MLSPA, the league wouldn't be as far as it is. Obviously, from the league side, they do want to push the league forward, but I think we've also have a lot of terms and the right experiences that basically shape how we have our league now. If there was no PA or the previous guys that served, I think it would be you know, not as good of a league to play in, as good of an environment, locker room, everything that we have, you know, that sometimes us as players take for granted because the previous guys went through those difficult negotiations. We wouldn't have those things now. So it's I'm definitely thankful as a player now for all the previous players who helped push the league to where we are at now. I think the number one thing that is beneficial and that tennis players should realize about the PA is the power of a collective unit. You know, whether it's negotiating against the tournaments, the leagues, whatever those financial terms are, if you just look at the financials and don't talk about all the other things that make up the sport, it's a very powerful message to be able to have that unity and collective group together to be able to negotiate on every single player's behalf. The unity of being together obviously creates a huge amount of pressure on whoever you're negotiating with. Also, getting things you want at that moment are much easier if it's a collective group, rather than the single person going and trying to negotiate on behalf of themselves. I think the collective group is able to put across a message that, hey, we're together. It's much more powerful that way. And you know, just the collective unit of when you're going up against the players around the league. I know from personal experience being in the PA, it's made my experience as a player in the league that much more enjoyable because I know players from different teams. In this case, within tennis, you're playing against those players. Obviously, you're competitive because it is an individual sport, but it's also special and makes it more meaningful when you do go up and play those personal matches. So I think a global Players Association, specifically within tennis, is huge. Obviously, soccer is a global sport as well, but we don't have as much interconnectivity between the different countries. Even though I wish there was more of that, I think specifically with tennis, I think that can be super powerful if all tennis global athletes come together and are able to negotiate better terms, obviously connect with each other. Whatever the situation is, it will make their experience better. So I know, strictly speaking, here in the MLS, domestically, it's a huge help to be able to have a collective group and have representatives within the PA supporting us. If that can become a global thing, it can definitely become a game changer for moving the sport forward. The one piece of advice I would like to portray is to just take initiative. For me, at the moment, I didn't fully take initiative, but I also had to ask myself, hey, can you step up and do this? And I did take initiative after the fact. You know, when you take initiative as a player and the next person does it, the next person does it, it's a domino effect. I think that will continue to grow the PA and continue to move the sport forward. Some players personally are luckier than others based on their situation, but you know, you never know how you can help the person you're competing against or the next person up when you're done playing. So I think just taking initiative is the biggest piece of advice I could possibly give.